Hi folks, that's me again. Long time no talk, long time no see. I got another question coming up on the internet, and I got a friend of mine here which is doing my internet, and he's sitting with me right now in this living room. You can't see it because it's invisible, and you will hear his voice asking questions. So I can answer questions that people are asking in the internet, and some of our own questions and some of his own question coming up from him, and let's see if we can fill up some hole here. So you can anytime you want.
All right, all right. So the first question I want to ask is really why did you want to make a video today?
Well, it's just like we have lots of question about how far I am, and plus is a bad rumor out there. I'm dying from coal radiation. Apparently.
Yeah, that is a question that people are wondering.
Yeah,
They think that you're ill.
I'm not ill. I was ill between Christmas and New Year because I had food poisoning.
Yeah.
That almost killed me, and sometimes I wish I was going to die some of those days.
Yeah.
But besides that, I'm perfect with health, and well, look at me. I'm still alive and kicking.
Yeah. Okay. So I think people I think what would be good for people to hear is some of the stories that people have been sharing with you that have either come to your place and seen you, or have just been talking to you on the phone from all over the world. I mean, only thing that people see are the comments on a YouTube video, but they don't see the personal emails that you're getting, the personal phone calls you're getting from people. So, do you have some stories of success that are outside of just what someone might stumble upon on YouTube or in a comment section? What are some success stories other people have had that you can share?
Well, I think I got, if I count right, I got about almost close to a dozen people who came to my place, and they spent days, literally days. The Roman from Australia, I mean, he spent a week here, and we did a massive amount of tests with four of his friends came up from the States. And then I had people from the interior coming up, driving through a hailstorm and snowstorm to spend a couple of days here to find out how they can put this thing together so they can start doing their own tests. And my explanation for people to understand what is going on here is pretty much doing what I did in the beginning to start understanding, because understanding the element we're working with, which is totally taboo for us to know, it's really tough because you're getting confused with the wording they're using. They were using word they actually have the wrong meaning for the application of the mechanical of the phrase.
Well, yeah. See, some people seem to have a hard time sometimes with some of the words that you're using.
Well, yeah,
because you're
because
using them in a new way. Then people are like, they have a conventional thinking of how that word, what it means.
well, radiant energy. It was used in 1800 because they were demonstrating every effect of AC current was developing in 1880 from Tesla. They have no word for it, okay? I mean, they didn't want to invent new word for it, so they used word it was already around them, like current. Current is the direction of a flow of a river, okay? That's what,
yeah.
and that's what they use. Hey, that's gonna tell me the flow. It's got a flow, right? So we use current, right? And potential, right? A bucket of water is a potential. It's got potential to fill up. You can carry full bucket of water, right? That's full potential. Low potential, that means your bucket can only carry, it's a big bucket, but you can only carry that much water in it because it's got holes in it, and you can only hold that much water in it. That's low potential.
Okay.
This is the definition of low potential. You have a smaller volume of resistance. Now, it probably means nothing to a lot of people. You know, some people will catch that, but you know, I can spend my whole life trying to explain the element, how it works, but it's a lot faster to explain the reaction of the element instead of try to explain something it's not happening yet. I can explain a lot better after it happened and why it happened. And the reason we cannot multiply power from our house and make it bigger is because it's on its last stage. On its last stage coming out, that means you can only use some of the stuff coming out of there, and after that is done.
So this is where a lot of people are having trouble. Is people are coming on and saying, "This is crazy. This is impossible. It can't be worked. You've got to be fraudulent or something of that nature." because they're using,
well,
just like we said, they're kind of stuck like right from the beginning where they learn.
I know, and I like to, I mean, those guys, they call me fraudulent. I like to ask them, how much money that I stole from them, personally?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah,
Right? I mean, like, you know, if I'm a fraudulent, how much money I stole from you to call me fraudulent?
And, well, then that's my point as well, because the people who are calling you fraudulent, they don't have access to the emails that are coming in and the stories you're getting on the phone. So why don't you tell a little bit about some people that, you don't have to name any names or any companies or anything like that, but what are some of these stories that have excited you because they're getting similar results somewhere else?
I have a couple of pole transformer, a transformer company. They manufacture transformer, and they saw my video and they tested and they could not believe the result. It was the same result I was getting. For them, it was the bogus thing. So they just run in the shop, put two transformers, hook it up together. It took some 5 minutes, and plug it in, and they had the same results I had. So I mean, like, you know, I have company who phoning me. They want to work with me to develop the new transformer. So if I'm fraudulent, I'm having industry of their hundreds of millions of dollars I'm invested in those industry, and suddenly they said, hey man, what you do, it works. Let's see if we can tune that up. Because now I have people that are working on tuning the whole system. Like, you know, I only have so much knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to this, because all the knowledge I got, I didn't get it. I got bits and fragmentation of information, and some of the fragmentation it was lie, and some it was true. But the true was spoke with word within here for over 130 years. We never used those words again.
Yeah.
And they were spoken those words. Says you have to learn, and it's funny coming from a French guy, I have to relearn how to speak English, because the English they're using, the word they're using, is no longer available in the dictionary today. And the meaning changed. Sometimes you will have a word, it had a meaning in that time, and then today that same word have a different meaning. How that happened? Someone manipulate, you know, the words again.
Now some of what you were just talking about there are people that have replicated what you've done with actual pole transformers. But what about some of the people that have told you the success they've had with replicating the original experiment you have?
Oh, I have dozens of people, literally dozens of people. Some people, they actually made a beautiful unit, you know, a 3D printed all the parts and stuff like that. It looks gorgeous. It does. They all have the same result I'm doing, and they all have the same question. You know, they still have to, because it doesn't, the current, a bipolar current do not behave like a normal current. It's a cold current. It will carry heat when you ask them to do so. It will give you the heat, but it's more likely a flow cold current. And when I mean cold currents, everybody saw my video running a 40-watt bulb at full power and putting my finger across the 2-watt bare wire, and it didn't affect me.
And now make mention as well, like maybe I'll link it in the video, but what about the guy that was doing the what's it called, the oscilloscope?
Oh yeah, like, and when I was asking people, like, you know, this thing, like, you know, at 4 seconds, only intelligence can do those commands, and completed the command after, or executed the command after, is when you screw when you just run that blue pump line there, and you screw a light bulb, a 40-watt light bulb, it blows up, and you check the voltage and all that, and the current is AC current, true AC current wave. When you put a twisty on there, suddenly the AC wave totally disappeared, and it became a true DC square wave. Right. Now, even in the video, some guy duplicate that and put this oscilloscope into it, and this guy has got some experience also in electronics. He cannot explain why that's happening.
Yeah, he actually asked, like, why is this happening?
Exactly. Ask anybody out there, if they see that, can you tell me what is going on here?
Yeah, why are you able to put your fingers across those two bare
wire with a normal light bulb burning at full temperature, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not getting electrocuted or burned. Because they only react on the heat when the object asks for heat to run.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like intelligence on its own.
Now you have some people even locally here Can you explain about, there's someone who lives fairly close to you who is, what, an electrician or
Yeah,
electrical
actually,
engineer?
yeah, it's a company actually, and I'm not going to mention the name because I didn't ask for that permission, all
Sure,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, actually, we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to take some pole transformer, and he wanted me to use my machine because I can test pole transformer with my machine better than all the equipment they have. I can make the transformer do all its function, you know, and tell me if it's got any loss or a bad function or intermittent function.
Now tell us about his reaction though. He's trained though. He's trained conventionally.
Oh yeah, he's a trainer. Like, he's a pole man. He's a lineman. He put power lines up, transformer. He will put all the big entries on your farm. Like, you know, we're talking about 600 amp entry, something like that.
He's got to know what he's doing.
3-phase, single phase. He's a certified, you know, engineer to install a system.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
Now, what was his reaction?
He could not believe what was coming out. But at the time, he was busy when we did the video. Remember, he had to go.
And he came back.
He said, that's ridiculous. He said, that's just the craziest thing I've ever seen, is pushing two transformers against each other.
Yeah.
And they work. And they don't, nobody, like, sounds bad or ground, like, you know, hum harder than the other. It's just a natural humming. And what he could not understand is, when I put my amp meter into my generator, going to the transformer, I was getting such a little reading on my input of amp. I was below an amp. But when you go on the top and we start turning up, then the temperature, the radiation, because we're not using radiation anymore, stop building up into the transformer and then start showing up. The temperature start dropping up lower and lower as we stop using that radiation. And that's why people don't understand. You cannot see radiation. You can feel it, but you cannot see it. This radiation don't have acetone in it. It's not a man-made radiation. It's a natural radiation caused by the electron when they're not excited.
Now, what you're saying right now, most people, they're going to think that's just crazy.
Well, yeah, because they don't even know. Tell me, anybody in the world of science, come and show me in a video a flowing field of non-active electron. Not a cartoon, not a cartoon made on a computer, right?
Yeah.
A real camera footage. We have camera in this world who take the speed of light recording, right?
Yeah.
They should be able, if they know what they're doing, they should be able to take a field of electron, a natural field of electron, and actually to be able to break down all the electron and shape they are, right? I don't have this luxury of almost $500,000 for a camera. A lot of people, it's probably a dozen cameras. NASA's got one. A lot of people who are specialized on high-speed film have it.
But your naked eye can see.
But my naked eye, because your naked eyes, you know, record at the speed of light.
Yeah.
So,
and you've had mathematicians and other trained
oh
people.
yeah, they all come and take a look, because the camera, when you look at through the film, you can't see till you see with your bare eyes. And everybody will walk out of this room after a day of doing tests. They all walk out of here with their jaw dragging and the ground all the way up to their car.
Yeah.
And all they had is a bag full of questions.
Now, now, do you have any other stories of other people's success outside of here?
Oh yeah, we have all kinds of video. People duplicate the stuff on video, and they send us the video on the side, and they have the same result. Like, when I put something out there, it's because I tested almost 100 times to make sure I got result the same way every time. I tested a different way, but I want to make sure the result is always good.
What do you think? What would you say to the people? You kind of already answered this, but what would you say to the people that say you're not measuring every step of the way, and we need to know all these measurements all the way?
Well,
down.
those people, they're just looking for a needle into a haystack. I mean, for those people that have a question with all those numbers, they want to know, can you tell me the square cubic meter volume in space? Now that will keep them busy, because they have to go up there in space and measure all that, right? They want numbers, who they have no clue, if I give them a numbers, what the numbers is for. All those people, they want numbers.
Because you have a different understanding of the origin of where electricity
Exactly.
goes. So how would you say, like, what would you say to those people? Like,
What do you say? After I'm finished with that, my next job is to build instrument who actually read and give you the proper reading with the number. Right now what I'm using is I have to reverse engineering the instrument I have to understand how they function, what they actually reading, what they actually taking. And I find out the best thing to work with that I have right now is a Geiger counter.
yeah.
Geiger counter, there's a lot of equipment that built with a Geiger counter system in it, and people don't know. Well, a lot of people, you know, they have microwave, and microwave is radiation. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
And if most people have it, I don't have one, but if most people have it.
So now you have plans, though.
Oh, I have.
Wait, no, but you okay? Yeah, tell us a little bit about your plans.
Yeah, my plan is very simple. I mean, like, you know, I'm not up there to make millions of dollars and to extort millions of dollars out of the people.
People have offered you that.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, you know, Fiji, and I know I turned Fiji. I didn't answer. I mean, they offered me Hong Kong. We have the thing. They offered me Hong Kong offered me a bunch of, you know. I just got another phone call from Switzerland today.
Yeah.
And South Africa today. This morning I had 2 phone calls for an hour each. And those guys, they want to, you know, they offer me all kinds of stuff. I said, tell you what, if you don't understand after I'm done here, I said, then I'll go over there for a couple of weeks, you know, and I'll explain to you how it works. But I should not have to do that. If I want to go to another country this summer, it's because I want to go for holidays.
Yeah.
Not a working holidays.
You probably need some holidays.
Right? So I mean, like, you know, but the system is so bloody simple. Okay, I can take a 10-year-old kid who know nothing about electricity, and in 20 minutes, I'm going to show him how to connect those pole transformer with the unit and how it works, and he will understand every single thing. Why can a grown person is incapable of understanding a simple matter? And we only have 3 types of currents in this whole world, right? Square wave AC, a DC, AC wave, right? And impulse.
Impulse, yeah.
Now impulse has never been really talk about it, because this is a big secret. Your impulse wave is the most powerful wave in the world. That's what the military use. We can shoot massive amount of energy with a pulse, but not a square wave and not a AC wave, but an impulse. That means it's an on and off. It's got no delay between the wave. It's only on, empty space, on, empty space. And then you get a straight line would be neutral, right? And then again, in different country, different neutral, because in North America here, I don't know if you watch my video, we don't have a ground anymore, we have a return line, right? Now the return line, why do we need a return line? What are we returning in this line? This is a question people should ask. You know, why are we returning? What am I returning to the company I'm buying electricity for? Recycle electricity. Should I get paid for recycle electricity? When I take my plastic bottle to the depot, I get paid for it. But BC Hydro should do the same thing for electricity to get back from here.
What is conventional thinking with regards to, let's say, your hydro video, where there's energy leaving through the neutral?
Well, energy should be, a resistance should be showing in the meter, not a flow. When you have amperage reading in your amp meter going out to your ground line, you have a flow, my friend, because only a flow will make this meter read.
Okay. Now earlier you had said, when we were talking earlier, you had a challenge for people.
Yeah.
What was that challenge?
I want to challenge anybody out there on this planet, including aliens.
Okay.
To challenge me, I'm wrong. What I'm doing with the pole transformer, it's not true. I'm multiplying.
But now you're saying you have a new understanding of.
Yeah, a new understanding is very simple.
Because you can't use mathematics.
You can't use mathematics because mathematics is algebra, and algebra reflects unity. You cannot make more of something small and making something big by using algebra.
You agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that.
No, but you agree that you can't be using algebra.
Well, yeah, because don't use algebra.
Right, because
algebra reflect equality. You cannot make more with equality.
But see now, you also you don't disagree with the people that are saying that, because that's their thinking. They need to move beyond.
Was
that.
because those algebras was a design. If you want a plane, if you want to build a plane, you need to use algebra. If you want to make a car, you need algebra. If you want to make a boat, you need algebra. You want the exact half part of it to be exactly like the other side.
Yeah.
Right? If you have a wing shorter than the other one in your plane, you ain't going to fly very well. Right?
Not very well.
So, I mean, that's what algebra is good for. You reflect, equality. But when it comes to using energy, forget about that, right? Just use number if you want to use number. I've been using number for all my life. Arithmetic, I used to be a genius when it comes to arithmetic, moving numbers. But you can move numbers, you can multiply, divide, you can do all that just with a simple arithmetic. It's a long hand, but we have computer to speed up the process. I figure a way to not use any number anymore. I use word.
Yeah.
The word, the action of the word, the meaning of the word, and the phrase it will create is mechanical. So if you have the right word with the right meaning, by breaking down the word, it will show you how to build it. So you don't have to have any number anymore. And that's why I can figure out stuff very fast now, because I have capability of breaking down objects since I was a kid. All I have to do is listen to a piece of equipment, and I know exactly what's going on inside, and how many pieces is moving, and why he's making that, and how it can be functioning, and all that, in minutes. But now, by using words, I can move forward so fast.
Yeah.
I don't have to have, 30 pieces of papers and numbers and calculator around me every time I want to do something. I just use a word.
So okay, so now going on to money, okay, a topic that's a little sensitive for everybody. Okay, now why have you turned down so much?
Because you can't help the people who cannot afford this. You cannot help them by people giving you millions of dollars to show them a product they're going to sell them for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they cannot afford to buy it. So this technology would be useless.
So so what's your dream or vision, I should say?
So my dream is very simple: is to be able to finish off this product, clean it up, making it accessible to anybody who wants it.
It's got real output that can be under load, right?
Well, the video we had, it was 55 amp of real output coming up at a 15 amp generator. Yeah. Now, for anybody out there who's a little bit of an electrician and don't understand that, I would suggest them to shake their head a little bit, yeah, so the shit between their ear comes out, right? And they have a more understanding of what they're seeing. I got the company in the state, they did the test, and they said, dude, generator's not a 2,000 watt, it's a 1,500 watt. That was my mistake. And it's true.
Correction.
That's a correction. So even make me look better.
It makes you look better, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not pushing 2,000 watt, I'm only maximum pushing 1,500 watts. And they said, even at that, those generators, the best they push is 10 amp. At the best.
And this is what this company...
That company told me. They went up and purchased 2 generators to do the test.
Same one?
Same one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so now we have a company...
Independently.
An independent company in the state who did the test, and they said, whoa, that's happening. But they still have a problem to understand that generator, because no one really knows those generators, the bipolar generator.
Bipolar, that's a very important part of it, though, because a lot of people are asking, do I need a brushless generator in order
yes,
to work?
Yes, you do. If you want to manufacture AC currents, you will need brush on a large scale. It cannot be done without brush, because to manufacture you have to have friction. Without friction, you're not manufacturing. If you have a brushless generator, you have manifestation, not manufacture.
Okay.
Manufacture, you have to have a heat contact point, a rubbing to create heat. You don't do that in a brushless. So you're making the electricity manifest itself, because you're using magnet and flux, and you're throwing the flux into the stator.
Okay, so now just the last little bit about donations or investment and all that.
If anybody is out there who want to help me finish that up faster than I can by myself, because that's more likely the issue, the speed. Everybody wants this thing like yesterday.
They'd be throwing you a bone, ultimately.
More likely they throw me a bone. Throw me some money so I can continue. I did 18 years of research because I was working and doing that on my spare times. And believe me, when you come to energy, 18 years on spare times means you don't accomplish a whole lot, because when you're working, it's always something happen. You cannot do the stuff, right? You're only working here, now we're here, now we're there. That's what I stopped for over a year and concentrate of studying why bipolar energy or electricity behaves so different than regular AC currents, and does the same thing. But it behaves in a different way. It's almost like it's got intelligence in it.
Yeah, well, that's what it seems like. Yeah.
You see,
but I want you to set the record straight, though, about people are. I think people are envisioning you. Send me money. So I want to be at the top of this big company and the CEO, and I want to control everything.
I turned down.
Yeah, that's not you whatsoever.
I turned down again today, you know, to be CEO and stuff like that. I don't want to be, you know, the guy who have to overlook everybody. I'm giving you knowledge with the technology, right?
And you plan to have this all like almost step by step, basically.
Yeah, exactly, step by step. You know,
if someone wants to have perhaps investment as a company for themselves with the technology given away for free.
Look, I mean, any industry right now, they're using. Let's say they're using. I mean, some industry they're using a megawatt. Okay, not kilowatt. They're using megawatt, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell this industry, I mean, they already have transformer in the industry. And if I go there and say, listen, I can cut your cost of operation from the power company by 80% by adding 2 more transformers to your system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why, since this video has been out there, there's only a few people who actually saw I was putting more than what I was putting in.
Yeah, as many people have seen the video, there's only a certain amount that really understand
what
you've really done.
I mean, how many people understand when you screw a light bulb in the ceiling and you turn the switch on, why it turns on, how this electricity is manufactured, how it's distributed, right? How come it comes out of your wall? People don't ask questions anymore. Look, they're taking it. The doctor gave him poison to take as a prescription, and people just take it and swallow it.
Yeah.
Now we're living in a world of stupid. Yeah. Literally.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. So, like, what are your? People are very much anticipating a new video.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just here talking an interview, but more or less, what are you really doing? What is Gerard working on in the back that's going to change the world, or at least really give people a leg up here?
Well, I bought a generator that runs on nothing, either mechanical or non-mechanical, because I have both sides. I bought a car, you have a motor in it. It doesn't have to be recharging your battery all the time, and you can drive this car around the world. If you had a road around the world, over and over to your tire get bald and blow up and put new tire and keep driving again. This is the type of technology is available. An electric motor, if it's done at the geometry of the motor, and because it's law in this universe, we have to follow. Geometry is one law of this universe, right? Leverage is a very, very important law. The whole solar system is based on geometry and leverage. Okay. Because we have planet goes faster and slower than another, and bigger and smaller and further away and closer. That's geometry.
What you're talking about here is what's on the table, though?
That's what's on the table.
Because I'm sure people are watching.
Oh, I bet they have lots of questions. What is those donuts for? They're not for eating.
They do look good, though.
And they're not a salad bowl here. Let me put that away. It's very simple. It's called independent motor, independent electric motor. The brushless AC motor. They run on AC currents or DC square wave currents. But the thing is, they would run 10 times better and 10 times stronger with impulse currents.
Impulse currents.
Impulse currents, not DC square wave and not AC. So I mean, like, you know, we all and the difference in geometry is most electric motor. This is the stator of the motor. Most electric motor, the stator, all those little bar, they're pointing inside, and you're rotating a tiny little rotor about this big. Okay. Now it takes a lot of energy to grab to that rotor to create a vortex inside the motor, inside the stator, so that vortex grabs on the rotor and spin in the direction it's going. That takes a massive amount of electricity and amperage. Now if you reverse that like this motor is done here, and you put the coil on the outside of the stator pointing out, right? Now you will be able to hit those magnets in here properly. So you're hitting inside the magnet, so you don't have any loss. Now if you spin that really fast, right? If you spin that very fast, because they have iron plate all around those magnets, the magnet cannot get away from it. It's pretty much contained into this wheel. You will have a feel as the speed runs faster, since magnet is it's affected the electromagnet the electric. All right, look at that. It's like magic. Something appeared on the top of the table there. So yeah, we took a little break there in this video, and then we want to explain a little bit more about bipolar generators and induction motors, and how you can take the technology and bring it together and be able to produce a massive amount of usable electricity right away, right off the generator, and then you can feed that back into a transformer after that and to power a house. But you have to start with something, and the main start is your primary mover, and how cheap you can get your primary mover, and how much power you have out of it to feed the main system.
Well, I see a lot of people, they really focus on your primary so far in your experiments. So like when you show the two 18-volt batteries, and that you're getting more on the outside than what's being put out, people go, well, can you take the batteries away? And people will also say with the 4 horsepower, well, it's still using gas, and it's still 4 horsepower. But you're using these only to demonstrate stuff.
Exactly.
Your primary mover is going to be drastically different.
The primary mover will run on nothing, because that's the whole plant. It's to make it run by nothing, by using technology and reversing the geometry of the technology we have, because the technology has been used the wrong way. Technology has been made, it's very simple. They found the technology how to run stuff with nothing, and then they reversed the technology to make it cost so much to run, because, hey, I'm selling them electricity. Why should I make electric motor that runs on nothing?
Yeah, and you know what? And that, what you just said there, right, is actually what a lot of people who have been studying Tesla for years as well, and who are well capable of understanding what you're doing, those people would probably appreciate you saying what you just said, because that is literally how it happened in the past.
Exactly.
They needed to charge for it, they couldn't give it away for free.
And if people want to do a little research, not just be so lazy and picking up everything to fall on their lap, is get out there and do some research. If you use cold currents, which that's what they produce at the dam, is cold currents.
Oh.
Right? So if you produce cold currents and you feed your system or your house with cold currents, you will never burn anything again.
No light bulbs?
No light bulb, no burn
motor.
element. Your hot water tank, the only thing, the element will never burn. The tank might go bad, but the element will never burn. Your electronic will never burn. Your light bulb will never burn unless you step on it, right? Because it's very simple to prove this fact. I want all the lazy bastards out there to go to Niagara Falls,
Yeah.
right? They have a light bulb that's been burning since Niagara Falls is open. 24/7.
And you're saying this?
And he says, wow, look at this light bulb, is super. This light bulb has got nothing to do with the light bulb you're buying today. It's no different. It's the current they're putting in there.
Cold, yeah.
Yeah, cold currents.
It's not burning slowly.
It's not affecting the element. It's only making the element work. It's not eating at the element.
Yeah.
And all we're using here, the electricity, when it became an AC currents, AC wave, it eats slowly at the element. Because that's the loss function, the dying function of this electricity is coming out of your wall. That's called dying electricity.
I just want to stress again that your door and your phone is always open.
Oh, I know it.
But a lot of these free energy guys out there, which I know is not technically free, but a lot of these free energy guys there, they seem to hide in the background. They hide behind it. It's hard to get in contact with them. They never,
Well,
never
they're
respond to emails.
Well, I mean, it's kind of scary when you think, when everybody come up with something good, and on 3-6 months later, they're not needed to be finding this planet, right?
Yeah.
They disappear. I mean, a lot of people, they're so afraid, because we're living in a world of fear by the government. It's teaching us to be scared of the world and scared of them. I mean, there's no boogeyman out there.
It's your door and your phone is always open.
Always
they can
open.
Call you. They can come down.
All
If
you
they
gotta
don't
do,
believe anything
yeah.
that you're saying, come on down and test it.
All I ask, if you come and knock on my door with genuine question and a genuine, you want to learn something,
Courtesy.
I'll, like I said before, I'll feed you with coffee and cake, and we'll talk about this thing. But you come, because if you come in my door and knock my door and have an attitude before I open the door, then believe me, people who knows me don't like the attitude, because I hate people, literally hate people,
Attitude, yeah.
with their attitude, right? And they think they know everything. Well, you know what? I'm the first one telling you, I don't know everything, and I know very little, right? But what I know and what you know, and I find out the information you know is wrong, then you don't know much.
Right.
But we all come from school learning the same crap, they jamming in our throat, because they have a purpose for that crap for you to learn, so you can use it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what people, but
you're not selling plans. You're never going to sell plans.
no, I'm not asking for any money for the plan. That's the whole thing. If it's someone out there, and that's what I'm going to try to figure out. I'm hearing about Bill Gates and what a gentleman like Muffin. Buffett Muffin.
Well,
sorry guy, but you get a funny name. Yeah, Buffett, right? Where is this fucking money for creating and helping the people?
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I find out is life, and then this this is in the book, and the book I do believe, because I read the book differently. But if you give a man a fish, you will feed it for that day, and he will be very grateful for that day, right? But what about next day when you're not there, right?
Teacher.
If you give him the instrument, the tools, and the way how to catch a fish, you feed that guy for all his life. You don't have to be there anymore. And I don't want to be there for everybody all my life. I don't have a long life left, right?
Yeah.
Whatever I got left, I'd like to go and play a little bit, right?
So this is playing for you, though.
So this is playing for me, and right now, it takes, of course, money to play.
Yeah.
I can't spend my whole time on that and be able to be able to pay my own bills. Like I got to pay the roof, and look where I live. I live in a 64-foot trailer. I drive a Mazda. I don't drive a Ferrari or a Maserati, right? I'm not living in a $6 million castle, and I don't have any maid here, doing my work. So I'm living, and roughly around about $1,500 a month. That's my cost of living.
Yeah.
I got to cover that, because if I don't cover my cost of living, I can't do that.
Right.
Right?
And that's all you've ever reached out for. And,
exactly. If you people want
you haven't
finish,
received anything either.
Yeah, I just want people. I mean, actually, one person in the state actually sent us some money to do a whole bunch of tests, and he was excited about all the tests we did.
Oh.
Right? And so far, even some of the money he gave us, it come up to this year.
Right.
Right? And that was all part of it, because he gave me enough breathing room so I can go and dig out and find some other parts and other technology I can reverse and to be able to use properly.
Yeah, like people should also know that when you wake up in the morning, you're immediately on the go. You're experimenting, you're thinking,
I work in this
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
I don't have a life. I don't have a life. I want to try. I want to try to get this thing out there so fast, just in case something happened. This technology has been hidden for over 140 years. It's not something I'm making here. I didn't invent all that.
Yeah.
I just figured out it was hidden, and I'm pulling it out of the hiding closet and re-modifying where it was designed in the first place.
And you didn't even make these parts.
I didn't make any of those
You
parts.
found the parts, and that's what you're trying to stress to people. If you want to make it, look where the part is. You
Exactly.
found the parts yourself.
I mean, those are very simple. Those are electric motor will turn your washing machine, the front loader washing machine. When they took away, they had so much problem with all the moving parts of the washing machine, they said, why can't we make something with one moving part?
Yeah.
Impossible. And then one gets it, why we don't use a hard drive motor? Okay, well, we had a little bit of a technical problem.
Yeah, limit on the recording.
Yeah, we just need another battery. So back to what we were saying about this here is now we have the generator, which is called the bipolar generator. It's got absolutely no friction, so you're not making electricity. You're making the electricity manifest through the flux between the two large magnets, like horseshoe. They start from here and they go all around to here, and it's one on each side, and it's two flywheel. So when the field of the two magnet goes by the coil, those are the aluminum wire coil, by the way. They look like copper, but they're not. They're totally aluminum. And the field, the flux floating through those coils, create your electricity, make the electricity manifest into your coil. And so that was one system I tried. Too complicated to make it run. It will run by itself slowly on the transfer switch. As you can see here, you can transfer either both way or in the center. But you have to phase, they're out of phase, and it's very complicated to phase them together. Too complicated for my taste, so I didn't go forward with that. Instead, I want to find myself a better way, stronger way to do it. And that's why I became with the induction motor. And the induction motor, a motor that can actually run by itself. To the design of a hard drive motor in your computer, since IBM, from the beginning of the computer, those motor was invented. So it's not a new design. It's not something that you cannot use. The patent is long gone, is open for the world to use. And if it's not too bad, I'm using it. So I will redesign those wheels, and those are the drum. The drum spin around the motor, not the inside the motor spin. So you have massive amount, 100 times more torque, 100 times more torque than that type of motor, including except those motor here. And you can tell leverage is very important. Leverage, it starts from the center of your pivot point as I go slowly on the outside. Farther away you got from the center, more torque you'll have, less energy you need to spin this. It's a natural element. It's a natural rules. You know, it's called that leverage. Leverage is employed on every single moving parts or mechanical parts, and including your own body. Every day is leverage. If your leverage is not involved in your life, that means you're dead. You're not moving no more. As long as you're alive, leverage will be part of your world out there. So leverage is very important. Matter of fact, one of the most important elements in calculation in this world.
So what are your plans with this? I mean, clearly people can start to hypothesize what's going to happen here, right? But what is your first step that you're going to be trying to do here?
This first step, I'm just going to use sample parts I can pick up directly from any store. Matter of fact, if you have problem to pick up this guy, he's in Chilliwack, but if you want to show that card a little closer here.
Yeah, I'll get something on the screen.
Yeah, and we'll that way you will know where to get the parts. Okay, those are wash machine parts, and nothing fancy, but technology's been hidden everywhere in your appliances. Literally, I'm finding stuff in appliances I can use to do all kinds of stuff. It's almost like a smorgasbord of technology was misused. So let's use the technology we have today, and just straight with that, one of those, I remove the back part of that, I install this part back to this here in the front. Because this is bigger than this radius, that means I'm in the right direction with rotation and also leverage. That means my power, my source of power to turn this is greater and bigger than this. And that's the laws. If you go this bigger than this, then you have to feed it with energy to be able to turn it. So now, what's going to feed this motor here? Well, this motor can actually feed itself. A hard drive motor, if it's wired properly, actually make more electricity than they use. And if it's not, if you don't believe me, phone the engineer of IBM. If they're straightforward, they will tell you yes. If they're a liar, they'll tell you no. but and actually a hard drive, when it run in your computer and your laptop, it actually recharge your battery slowly.
And you discovered that, which kind of pushed a little bit onto the trail of thinking of how to put this together.
And actually, yeah, actually, I work with computer. I build computer and board, and that was one of those most fascinating. It was the hard drive motor, how efficient the sucker was.
Yeah.
I mean, like he runs on nothing, and I could program this hard drive board to spin any all the way up to unlimited RPM to explode.
Yeah.
Right? Matter of fact, there's a lot of virus in the early days when we're using that. People used to hit at us all the time. We send them a virus, so we have total control of the RPM of their machine, and we make their hard drive blow up. Right? It's a tiny little program. So I mean, like, you know, at that point we saw, oh wow, this little motor is probably pushing the maximum horsepower per gram of the size, the weight of the motor. It was incredible.
So you're trying to make ultimately kind of in a roundabout way.
Well, now they did my job. They actually take this tiny little motor, which is the size of a loony, and give me a 12-inch motor. And I know now, since they're making that, we can build this motor bigger, thicker, you know, smaller.
So what's your primary going to be on this? What's your end goal primary?
My primary is very simple. I'm going to feed those motor, instead of feeding it with AC current, I'm going to feed it with an impulse current, not a square wave current, and an impulse on-off only. And I will be able to manage that and to increase the power in the impulse probably about, I would say, 50 to 100% more, at least.
So those are rough numbers, but like, do you want to give numbers of what you're thinking might possibly come out of this on the very first go?
On the first go, I believe this motor you run on 4 amp only, right? AC 4 amp. And right now that thing is rated to turn your big tub of your washing machine full of wet clothes at 200 pounds and crank it up to 1300 RPM in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? That means if that motor was hooked up to a wheel in your car, it would literally burn the tire up your rim before you start moving.
Wow.
And that's just with AC currents, and only with half of the stator, because the other half is for turning the other way, right?
Right.
So the way I will design this motor will put out so much for the 4 amp he's going to use. I strongly believe, and those motors can be stackable. You can stack it, right? And you can put the drum on both sides, right? So I mean, it's doubling it up. So you double your horsepower. But I believe right now, with 2 of those motors, I can run my car, and I'll have way more horsepower than my 285 horse I got in my car.
So, and what about this? It would work in the same principle for, let's say, unhooking your home and going up, taking hydro off, and then hooking this.
Exactly, because now you can run a bigger bipolar, or I have a different, which is a much more efficient than a bipolar system with a big flywheel like this. Is people don't understand the electron of a magnet is like a rubber band around it. If you spin the magnet really high, the rubber band expands, and when the field expands, and you get pushed into the coil. So here, on the first motor I'm going to do to turn this unit here, just to prove a fact to people, right? Just to prove it works and stuff like I did with the transformer.
The transformer is going to be in this setup?
This setup will run by itself, produce 15 amp, right? It will run totally by itself because it will be generated by a smaller generator in the center, a DC generator, but high voltage DC. I'm going to run this motor between 400 to 740 volt DC.
Okay.
Not AC, DC, right? So I don't have to phase my motor who drives it. It's all done by itself if I use DC, right? An impulse. I can remove all the between timing the generator will create my power to where I apply the power. I don't have to phase by using DC and an inverter. I can use that. I can eliminate the phasing system.
So you just, in this case, you would just need a primary, like let's say a 12-volt battery or something, just to get it started.
Well, see, my primary is very simple. I'm using the stator of an alternator for a car.
Right.
which
right.
is 12 volts.
Which has been suggested on the comments. As
Right,
well.
and what I'll do, it fits right in the middle here. The shaft will still have the roll. The shaft will have 4 magnets tied up to it. It will run inside that stator. It will produce my DC currents I need to run this motor. So all I have to do now is bring a batteries, just like a car. You have a 12-volt batteries. You put the key in the ignition. You turn it on. It light up everything up, and then you start the motor. You turn one more and hold it to the RPM is at 3600, and then you let go. And then the battery is no longer involved for running this motor. It's totally disconnected. It doesn't do nothing anymore.
It's simply there to get things
It's just to
started.
get to the RPM. So the RPM, at the RPM, my voltage will be high enough. I will be able to start feeding this one in.
And it will be charging back anyway, so that battery will always be
Always a trickle amp going into the battery, so the battery will. Or you can have a battery pack, so you don't want to have the battery beside there or built into the system. You can have a battery pack you keep in your house. If you think when you want to get power, if you want to start things, you bring it back the pack and you boost the thing. You just plug it to it and click it on and it's done, right? Just like boosting a car when the battery is shot. If the battery is dead in your car, you can't go nowhere till you get a boost.
Huh. So you would envision this as well on a home, generating enough power to, we're talking the whole thing, refrigerators, stoves, electric.
Everything you have working today in your house, I can make it work just as good as it's now better. And we're not having a risk of electrocuting yourself all the time. Because now to get a really good shock out of that, you have to have the 2-wire in your hand. You have to be the resistance.
Yeah.
If you're not the resistance, you cannot feel this power.
Okay, well,
right?
and to clarify as well, again, I know I've done this multiple times, but to clarify again, you're not heading up any kind of manufacturing. You're simply putting this together, sharing it with people, and what they want to do with it is up to them.
It's up to them. It's exactly up to them. I'm giving you I'm going to give you a working prototype for you to run with, right? I don't want anything for it. I just want to finish up to make sure everything is working properly.
And if someone wants to throw you a bone for some of your expenses, then that might
exactly.
be
That would be great.
But you're still going to get it done without it.
Exactly. In the end of the day, like, if no one, want to help me, it's going to take maybe a little longer. But like I said, I'm weeks away. And if I have to go back and do things and raise some, get some more money, and I'll stop the project for a month, and then I will make some more money and catch up on my stuff, and then go back on it. But if someone want to throw me a bone, how I repay back a bone, or how can I repay back a private loan when I said I don't want charity?
Right.
Because I'm not asking for charity.
Oh, yeah.
Plus charity, now the government is making money on charity, they tax it.
Yeah.
And as I'm the last guy who's going to feed the government, right?
I
I would be one of the biggest hypocrites
sure.
in the world.
Sure.
By feeding the government at the same time, I'm bitching about it.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, I'm just trying to get something for people who have a tiny little bit of chance to maybe make it a little further in life. We're not sucking the life out of them.
The people that email and say, they come from all over the world. I see the emails, and oftentimes I'm the one who's actually answering the emails. Sometimes it's Gerard, but they're asking things about like, how can I power my village? We're so poor over here. We really need this, and you can tell people are really genuine. They just want power. That's all they want.
And it's so funny because, people left here with the technology of cutting their costs by 80% immediately. Just the technology I gave them using the part we have available today. They can cut the cost of operating for the same amount of electricity they're paying for.
Yeah.
They can reduce the cost by 80% instantly. Now, I don't know around the world if anybody have something to reduce the cost of energy by 80% instantly.
Well, I do believe that when you're fully completed this and we got a video up running where you can actually show what it's actually running practically, whether that's a house, a car, reading at the end of it with a result, that's ultimately when people will really, I think, get involved.
Those are the people that's sitting on the fence. They've been sitting on the fence all their life because they cannot making their mind for going left or the right of the fence, right? And that's about 80% of the population. I call them fence sitter.
You're
right?
giving them an offer they can't refuse, which is free.
Right, and those people, they don't want to make that thing because they can barely screw a bulb into the socket, you know, when the bulb burned out. So I mean, I have no problem with those people, you know, because those are people. That's the way people are,
Yeah.
right? But you know, we don't have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to a government to feed us with garbage.
Yeah.
Like,
Time to take it back.
What's wrong with people's head? Oh yes, right. They have shit for brain.
Yeah. Well, they've been indoctrinated
Well,
for a long time.
yeah, but that's big. You know, we've been using this word for 40 years, indoctrinated, right? This
Yeah.
when this word's been invented, and we've been using that as a pacifier and fixing the problem,
Yeah.
right? Let's fix the problem. The problem is, hey, we're giving people money, or they have no respect for what you're doing. All they do, they just take that money and spend it and just waste it.
So like I guarantee you're gonna get emails, and there are gonna be people that are gonna be wondering, what's the part number on that? What's this and what's that? How do I make that? Where do I get the parts? What do you say to them?
Oh, very simple. Get up your ass, go to your local appliances service guy, which I'm pretty sure every town have one, or the next town have one.
Yeah, how are you getting them fixed?
Yeah, where are you gonna get your machine fixed, right? So, and go there and say, listen, I saw something like this, take a picture of it, can I have one of those? You know, do you have one of those kicking around?
Yeah, take a screenshot of the video full
or
screen.
look into the eBay. They're $80 a piece in eBay. You will buy one of those and one of those for $80 in eBay.
Yeah, and then you're already halfway there.
You're halfway there.
You're getting something machined.
Exactly. You're getting something that would cost you hundreds of dollars, instead you're getting for $80 because they don't burn those motors. That machine can be 100 years old and that will not be burned.
Yeah.
Right? It's because it's an induction motor.
Induction. That's a key. That's maybe.
Induction. And the word is wrong. It's an pulse engine or a motor. A pulse motor, not an engine. A pulse motor. Because induction is a word people don't understand. But a pulse people understand. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Because if I punch you, this is called a pulse. It's only one hit. And it's got power behind it, it's got force.
Yeah.
And that's the only current. If you look at all three current I mentioned, between square wave DC, AC wave, and pulse, is the only one who reflects power, energy, force. That's the only one who reflects those. The rest of those do not reflect that. So this is the power you want to use, because he's telling you, I'm reflecting force.
Yeah.
Right? So why you want to use the other type of current who do not reflect force when you want to drive a lot of force out? Well, turning a motor is force.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people have come really close to what you're trying to do, but
It's a lot of people, but they're working backward because they're
backward,
using the geometry we've been shoving to our throat constantly. You want to spin a little motor like this, and the motor has to be small, but when you look at the application on all the electric motor, actually our electric motor, we could use 3/4 electric motor to be like this, like short and fat, then long and skinny. We have to modify the equipment to put those damn long and skinny motor. If we had used those one, we didn't have to modify the equipment. Right? I build equipment, in my life I build industry, manufacture, sawmill, paper mill. I work in every one of them and build them.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking would have those motor to use in the industry, it wouldn't make my work so easy, because we have to re-engineer a whole thrust system just so we can put that big fat motor there. We didn't have room for it. But we had to put it there. That's the only thing we could put there. Instead, if we'd had flat motor, bang, it would be inside, close the door, and everything is running. And the torque those things can put out is way beyond. The same thing again, like, you know, everybody says, I'm building a new electric car. This is the dumbest thing I ever heard.
You know why? Maybe you could talk about that for just a moment. Is what's wrong with these new cars that you can tell from what you've learned here?
The battery operated car, they don't make their own power.
They don't make their own power, right?
The battery operated car, you know, you get the Tesla syndrome, right? You start the car, you start driving on your highway, and suddenly the blue light says, you only have so many kilometers left. So you go to the next stop line and you step on it under the green light and said, oh, now you use way too much juice. You only get you're 5 blocks away and you're stressing so bad you're going to turn around and come back and park this car because the stress is just too much, because you know Tesla car, no tow truck will pick it up.
But this, so just do a very, very brief rundown again. Just this is ultimately going to be self-running.
Well, yeah, it is self-running already. This motor is self-running, right? All I'm going to do is add that tiny little piece in the middle to create that tiny little bit of DC current I need, right, to be able to feed it with impulse.
And without the transformers, you're thinking you can output how much power?
Well,
I don't want to say amps, but
this thing can be built as big as you want. Like I said, this thing can run whatever that thing is capable to run. I can build it bigger and run a train. Now, can you imagine a boat or a ship or a train who runs on nothing and no pollution in the back?
Sounds like a winning idea.
No kidding, you know. I mean, like, that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, we don't have much time. If we don't cut this pollution down, I'm talking about all the pollution down in the next 5 years, we don't have a hope in hell. I mean, our water is poison, our food is poison, our ocean is poison, our dirt is poison. Everything the human touch is poison.
Yeah.
Like, how long can we live that way? Right? Just because of the people's greed. That's what will create poison, people's greed. We're making food with poison, literally. I mean, why do we have food coming up from China from here? You gotta be done, because we're sending all our garbage over there. We're paying for the transport so they can take the garbage and convert it to either food or either garbage that doesn't last nothing.
Yeah.
Right? People, like, the intelligence of people was flushed down the toilet probably about 50 years ago. So, I mean, like, I mean, if anybody want to help me out to make it faster, it's great. All you got to do is contact me.
Send an email, and eventually you're going to get, pretty quickly you'll get Gerard's phone number, and you can talk to him directly on the phone.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, and people all keep asking me, how can we send money? How can we send money? I travel around the world. You know what I use around the world? I don't carry a lot of money, no more than $2,000 on me. I don't carry plastic. I don't do anything with the bank. I go around the world and book nice hotel, and they come. I don't need no credit card.
Mm-hmm.
All I need is a number, my flight ticket number, so they can come pick me up at the hotel for free. That's all I have to do, and I get a better deal with cash over there. And then when I want some cash, I phone my wife, and in 15 minutes, I have the cash at the other end, around the world in Africa.
Yeah.
So it's very simple. Western Union. You can do it online. You can do it personally, right?
And it's really to keep it going and get things done faster.
Yeah,
That's
and then I'm not asking for millions of dollars. I'm not asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars, because it would be like, it would be throwing money, and not be able to use it. All I want is enough money so I can keep on doing and finish that as fast as we can, so we can have this thing done for this summer for everybody to be using it. I mean, I might disappear, this summer, because, like, when this is all done, it's all working. If my room is done, my work is done.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just going to pick up my own little stuff, my own power, and go as far as I can go away from people, because literally people are disease.
Yeah. You'll have exactly what you need to continue living.
Yeah, and I can live in a fantastic environment, because I have the energy, the free energy to do it.
Yeah. So what do you say to the people that they just, I'm not even sure how to word it anymore, because you've answered so much of it in brief, but do you have any maybe closing comments of what you really want to say here? Because clearly you've done, with this video, you've answered some questions that people have had, some questions that we feel we should have answered to put out to people, right? But also what's coming in the future, right? I mean, this should excite people. Like,
well, that's the whole thing. But
there's no shite.
You cannot excite people where their brain is totally off.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go into the funeral home and talk to a dead guy in his coffin all day long, and in the end of the day, after I'm done, he didn't heard a damn thing I say. He's dead, right?
Right.
I mean, that's the stupidest thing I heard. To go tell your problem to a stone or a rock or a tree. That ain't going to solve your problem, right? It might make you see the problem at a different angle, but that should be to you to figure that one out. And if you have a problem, start looking the 360 degree around the problem. You might be able to solve it.
So it appears that this is probably going to slow down a little bit for the next little bit, given the fact of the situation.
Well, it only slows down as money, right? I mean, like, you tell me something, money doesn't slow down in this world.
Yeah.
Right? I'm no different. Right? Every time I jump in my car, just to get up in the morning and jump in my car and go to Chilliwack and come back with nothing, it costs me $50 to $60.
But yeah, you should also, again, totally. But you should also, again, clarify that this is, you're not begging for money. You're not on here asking for money.
Hey,
you're on here to give
put it
away
this
for
way.
free to give up.
If I wanted to rip people off, I would go down to Richmond, buy myself a $200 reader with an open software,
yeah.
And I can program the software and go walk in the mall and pick up all the people's information out of their pocket 5 feet away.
No, you have bigger dreams. You're willing
Right?
to help people.
If I could be a multi-millionaire by ripping people off in their pocket without even knowing they were getting ripped off. Because that's how there's no security of anything. I have the biggest encryption in the world for security. And all the credit card companies says, we don't need that because we have insurance. Because people pay for the insurance. So why should we spend money for security?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, ask IBM what they have for security. They have pretty much part of my security system. You know, you walk away when a person walks out of my office. Yeah. And I don't really care if they're using it, great, they're using it. It doesn't bother me. You didn't see me going after all that stuff. Yeah, if you want.
I know, you're not a greedy, but you just want to keep going.
Just in Abbotsford, B&B Muffler, B&D Muffler, B&D Performance, Diesel Performance, stole my muffler design, which it gave you an extra 23 horse on a diesel truck on a Cumming motor to put this muffler in, and it's quieter and on the highway than an original motor, right? They stole that.
Yeah.
Right?
And you didn't go after them?
I didn't go after because it costs
costs
too much money to go after people.
Yeah.
Right? Because the lawyers and all that bullshit, it costs too much money. That's when nothing never get chased. But what I see right now is like, we have technology. It's real. And anybody think I'm a ripoff, then I want them to come before they say that. Come here, take
come
a good
and visit.
look.
You're welcome.
And then at the end of the day, if you think I'm a rip-off, then you can say whatever you want after that.
You can make your own video. You can even make the video here.
Yeah, you can come up and make with your own equipment and make the video. In case you think my equipment is trick, my camera is a trick camera.
Trick camera, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, So, but that's all we want to say. I mean, just to let people know, we are not stopping. We slow down a little bit, but it's not a stop. I did figure out a lot of stuff as we were slowing down because it gave me more time to think about stuff and do the random of logic and all the angle I'm working with. And that, it's not a loss because you got to do that, right? And that's why when I put something together, I don't go out and spend a huge amount of money. I want to do small tests, and if those small tests don't give me an 80% return, this test, it was a test, I'm not going to go there no more. Because there's something wrong with that unit.
Right.
So I find out what was the negative calculation on that, and then I removed those, and that's how I came up to this motor. You can never make a racehorse with that motor over there, but you will make a racehorse with this one. So,
and if you feel you can help in some way, you should definitely contact Gerard through email first, and then you'll likely be talking with him on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty straightforward. I mean, like I said, I don't live in a $1 million mansion, and I'm not driving a Ferrari. So it's just
not a bad little place, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, the roof is not leaking, put it this way.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very simple. If people want to get this thing, if they want to help me, far out. If they don't want to help me, sit on the fence and watch. Yeah. Right? But you might have to sit a little longer.
Yeah.
That's the only problem is money, time, and all that. It all acts up. So there you go, folks. That's all we got. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and you'll find out where we are at this point. Thank you very much.